My name is Chetan Venkatesh. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Macrometa. Macrometa's Global Data Network, or GDN, lets cloud applications and data run closer to where users and devices are, making cloud applications very scalable, very high performance, and instant by removing latency from the picture. The challenge that enterprises have now is how to take data and turn it into information, knowledge, and value in real time. Historically, data systems have all been, what we call post-process and batch, which means that they're great at telling you what happened in the past. Whenever we need systems that are going to tell us what's happening right now or potentially predict what might happen, real-time data becomes a critical factor and constraint. And the cloud is just not an infrastructure that is designed for this next 10 years of computing that is coming our way. And so it ends up that all of these types of application experiences require real-time data to power them. And that's what is the new defining characteristic of applications. And you need a hyper-distributed cloud like Akamai to be able to do that. If you look at some of the hyperscale public clouds, they have lots and lots of regions. But what we found was that scale and performance were not necessarily their strengths. They could achieve scale, but by dropping performance, for example. You kind of had to trade off one for the other. When we discovered Akamai Compute Infrastructure, we realized that this had been engineered for very high levels of consistent performance at very vast scale. Akamai getting into the compute space, to me, is a moment in history. Because just as Akamai inventing the CDN 20 years back made the internet and the modern web possible, I see Akamai coming into the compute business really enabling real-time cloud and making that a possibility. And the vision that Macrometa and Akamai have around being able to build real-time applications, real-time data, and commoditize latency to the point where latency is not even a factor in the design and development and architecture of enterprise applications is a really exciting foundation for our partnership. I have a really exciting and interesting story or case study over here of how Akamai and Macrometa partnered up and created just a knockout result for one of the leading electronics brands and e-commerce sites in the world. And the results were staggering because one of the metrics that this customer really cared about was what's called site speed performance measured by the Lighthouse score. And they had a Lighthouse score that was 25 or 30. And between Akamai and Macrometa, we were able to improve it to 95. And consistently a score of 95 across the board. And so they went from being in the bottom third of the cohort to being one of the top 3 in the world in a matter of 8 or 10 weeks. And that substantially results in higher revenue, better customer satisfaction. Macrometa and Akamai are just such natural partners because our visions really converge around this idea that the world needs to be real time. We live in an age of instant gratification. We can bring the value of the hyper-distributed cloud and allow customers to get better revenue, better cost savings, or whatever their strategic goal is in a far shorter amount of time than trying to do that journey on a hyperscale cloud. I think one of the biggest attractions for me personally as the CEO of Macrometa in working with Akamai as a partner are the people. Because I think Akamai is just such an incredibly positive, empathetic culture. It's a very people-centered culture, and it shows in the way that they go to market, in how they talk about the power of their platform and the kind of value it creates for their customers. But I also see it every day in the way we go and work with customers directly and solve their problems. We've been involved in some of the largest, most complex, large-scale, enterprise use cases in e-commerce and financial services. And in each of those cases, what I think beyond the technology is just so special here is how Akamai engages with a high level of integrity and investing in the customer's success.